Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Breckenridge Brewery Juice Drop Hazy IPA. And you might be wondering, Caleb, Jeeping Foodie, you've been looking at a lot of craft beers here lately. What's the deal? Is that really working class? Well, I've already told you, you can drink whatever you like. And these are this 19.2 ounce cans, the stovepipe cans. And this is about $3, which seems a lot, but you know what? I don't want to pay 12 something for a 6-pack and to find out that I don't really care for it. So to me, this is a better bargain. It's cheaper. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Church key the can. Anybody else doing that? I'm talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. I haven't seen anybody do anything about it. I'm going to use this red wine glass. You might think that's kind of odd, but maybe once I pour it in here, you'll realize, hey, that's not a bad idea. Very similar to like a brandy snifter. Got a little schmutz on here, huh? So, let me go ahead and top that off. Breckenridge is out of Colorado. It's one of those that are formed in the early 90s, back in the big craft beer boom. You go to breckbrew.com, that is the website for Breckenridge beers. And for Juice Drop, it is a hazy IPA. It has the deets here. So it doesn't really, it's got like these scales. So for color, it goes from light to dark. It leans towards light, as you can see this. Malty to hoppy, it leans towards hoppy. And then as far as strength is 7%, 60 IBUs. So that's definitely a good standard. To me, that's a good benchmark for an IPA, around upper 50s to 60s. That's a good baseline to start with. You get below that, you're getting just into a hoppier pale ale. So yeah, this is a good benchmark for numbers. 7% is pretty good too, personally. I've seen IPAs that were as low as 5%. I think Schlafly's regular IPA is right at 5%, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's what they were originally. So, but as far as modern IPAs goes, you know, this is more of where it's at. Not necessarily the hazy thing. Sun's gone down. It is almost 6 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, so between session and strong, it's like balanced right in the middle. So it's not overly strong. To me, 7% is on the stronger side of things. Like I said, if it was 5%, I would consider that a weak IPA, unless you're getting to a session, which those are just like the low-calorie light beers of IPAs. That was like a fad for a bit, because when IPAs first came onto the scene, or became popular, I should say, these people were going for these stuff that's like 12%, and these things are probably well over 200 calories, probably close to 300 calories per serving, and people were probably just crushing these things, and then find out their belly's getting all fluffy like mine, and like, I can't do this, but I don't want to give up the hoppiness. I love that, you know, they call them hop heads. And so they started making these session IPAs. They used to be like in the 4% range, and a lot of them were hazy like this. So another site I was looking at was Beer Advocate. I don't subscribe to Beer Advocate. I don't log on to there or anything like that, but sometimes I just go there for a reference. So Colorado, that's considered a New England IPA. That's the hazy style. So it's not overly bright color, but it is definitely hazy. You can't really see through it, and it's holding the head. See, I like these red wine glasses. They're definitely good for, you know, pouring a beer and looking at it. Top that off a little bit. I know that's normally you don't fill a wine glass this full, but you know, it's beer, it's not wine. 7%. They rank an 84 out of 100, so that's good. You know, that's in the good range. Only 35 views. The first review was done December 10th of 2020. So we all know what was going on during that time. So it's not real old. It's a fairly new beer, even though this style has been around for a good decade or two, the hazy IPA thing. In the early 2010s, it really started to come onto the scene. So let's take a smell. A little bit of fruit, definitely some hoppiness. not grassy hops. It's going to be the citrusy style hops. The website, neither the website nor Beer Advocate lists the ingredients. Sometimes the cans do. I've got a Boulevard one that's coming up that actually does. The Dank 7. It's like Tank 7, but it's Dank 7. But it's Dank 7 because it's 7 hops. But that's not what we're talking about today. That's going to come in a little bit later date. Brewed and canned by Breckenridge Brewery, Littleton, Colorado, and Portland, Oregon. So 2 different breweries. India Pale Ale, 19.2 ounce can. Not a whole lot of information. 7% alcohol by volume. You know, it's a little cloudy. Looks kind of like orange juice, pineapple juice-ish looking. So let's take a sip. It's a fair amount of bitterness. Yeah, a good amount of bitterness. But like, if you're into the style, this is going to be very pleasing to you. Not super heavy body. It's not super malty. 7%. I guess. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess because it's right in that kind of balanced range where it's not overly heavy, but it's not thin. Yeah, it's definitely not thin, not watery. It's pretty good. Ooh, carbonation coming up. When it's really hot outside, something like this might be all right after it cools off, like right now. When the sun goes down, the cicadas are out. You can see the pool in the backyard here, but it's kind of gotten away from me. I've been keeping, trying to keep it all balanced out, but it's just hard. I think the sand and the filter needs to be replaced because it's just not filtering like it used to, and it gets away from you pretty quickly. And it's not as warm as it once was, so I'll probably end up packing it up soon, draining it, capping it off, and getting it ready for winter, which is a shame because, if we get another warm, blast, it'd be nice to be able to jump in there, but I ain't gonna do it if it's green. But anyway, yeah, this is my first time having this. I've had other Breckenridge beers. They have a oatmeal stout that's really good. I know I've had other ones. I'll have to look through my catalog and see what other Breckenridge beers I've had. I do see them in 6-packs. I don't know about this particular one. This is probably in cans. I've noticed that craft beer has been going to cans instead of bottles. I think just for economic reasons, this is cheaper, which is fine. They're both recyclable. If you watched my New Belgium Amber or Fat Tire Ale video, you'll understand my feelings on that. I have no problem with environmental consciousness, but I just don't like it being broadcasted in a virtuous way. So but I understand for cost reasons, it's probably cheaper to go with cans. Now, I've been seeing a lot more of these one shots coming out, and I think that in a way for me that's a good thing because it's a good way to sample something that maybe you don't want to invest in a whole 6-pack. You just want to try it, and if you like it, then you might be willing to pay for the whole 6-pack. So I think this is, even though per ounce it may not be as cost efficient, but just for the initial investment to try it, I think it's good. So yeah, I could have poured this in a fluted glass, any sort, mug of some sort, would have been fine, but it's really good. It has a good nose on it. Yeah, fruity, floral type hops, definitely. I wish I could find out what the hop varieties were. I'm honestly a little shocked that Breckenridge didn't put that on their website. Their description was very basic, and there may be other ways. Obviously, any brewery, you should be able to contact them by email or social media and just ask them, hey, what are the ingredients to such and such beer? They'll probably let you know. I'm sure there's some employees there that are there just for that reason. And if I was to not like this beer, and I was to say, you know what, there's something about it I don't like, or maybe I think that it wasn't made correctly, Like I've had some beers where I poured them and the head went away immediately. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. I've contacted Anheuser-Busch of all companies, has been one that's always been consistent about getting back with me when I contact them. They'll refund me for the cost of the beer, and they'll give me a shirt. Like actually this shirt, this Rolling Rock shirt, came from AB InBev because I bought some Rolling Rock that tasted like corn water. I don't know that I've done a review of Rolling Rock. I'll have to, you know what, I might have to revisit or look at that one officially and put a video out for it. But yeah, they gave me this Rolling Rock t-shirt because I told them it tasted like canned corn water. I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to taste like that because I've had Rolling Rock in the past and it actually just tastes like a lager. So yeah, don't be afraid to contact your brewery, your local brewery, the big macro breweries, any of them. There should be someone available to get a hold of you or to talk to if you have any cause for concern. So Breckenridge Brewery Juice Drop Hazy IPA. Do I like it? Yeah, I like it. Would I buy a 12 or a 6-pack of it? Probably. You know, if I don't have to pay more than, if I had to guess, it's going to be probably $11. Sometimes it's $12, $11.99 for a 6-pack on some of these craft beers. I don't like that. If I find one for 10 and under, and I know that seems petty, $1 or $2, but it is what it is. You know, it's a competitive market, and I think that the best way to compete is to kind of just go right under everybody else. Give them just as good of a product, you know, and sometimes you can make up for that little bit less profit by selling more in volume over time, you know. And I'm surprised that people aren't trying that, but I think they're trying to squeeze every last drop out of this. I guess you'd call it recession that we're going through, the inflation that we're dealing with, which is it's a bummer because a lot of people are struggling and they're doing the best they can, while other people are doing better than they ever have been. You know, and that's just, I guess, that's the name of the game, and I hate to see that, but I think that we all should be able to enjoy beer and to relax and talk about it. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. We take one more drink here. If you're a fan of this beer, if you've ever had this beer, let me know in the comments. If you're a fan of the company, of the style, anything, or if you're not, put it in the comments. Talk about it. I love the dialogue. I will respond to you if you comment. So feel free to talk about it. You've had this. Thank you guys for your time, and I will see you guys later.